Okay, all right, we spent most of the morning focused on the pathology of type 2 diabetes to understand what actually causes the disease and why people remain in a diabetic state. This afternoon we're going to focus on the solution, how to actually beat this disease, how to turn your body into a fat-burning machine. The first thing, though, we're going to review my favorite foods. Well, actually, this is before the Brussels sprouts. This is before I got the knowledge. And I lovingly refer to these as the 5 dead foods. Number 1, and none of the foods on this list should surprise anybody. Okay, number 1 is flour. 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 Flour exists in over 72% of the food in the grocery store. So it is somewhat of a challenge to avoid the flour. And why do you want to avoid the flour? 2 reasons. Number 1, it contains gluten. And number 2, it behaves and metabolizes in your body as sugar. Starches are the same thing. It metabolizes in your body as sugar. And those are some of my favorite foods. The rice. Oh, I used to love the white rice with the butter on top. And the mashed potatoes and the bread. Loved all those foods. And yeah, that also includes the spaghetti, the pasta, all those good foods. Number 2, of course, is sugar. But more importantly, it's high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is 50 times more powerful than sugar. You want to become diabetic, just keep putting high fructose corn syrup into your body. I believe it was in 1952 when the government discovered that high fructose corn syrup causes diabetes in cows. So they stopped feeding the high fructose corn syrup to the cows. Where did the high fructose corn syrup go? Right. They started putting it in the food. So if you were able to track the content of food starting in, let's say, the late 1950s, or especially in the 70s, you'll see that the amount of high fructose corn syrup increased dramatically over the next 2 decades. And once we hit the 1990s, we were all hooked on high fructose corn syrup. But if you think about the name, it's ingenious, isn't it? Think about it. Fructose. Okay, that's a sugar in fruit. Sounds safe. Corn. Oh, that's a vegetable. So the name doesn't sound like it's going to hurt you. But high fructose corn syrup will make you diabetic very, very quickly. Number 3, dead food. And I'm sure everyone is familiar with our buddy, trans fats. It's all over CNN, it's all over television. Everyone knows avoid the trans fats. Food manufacturers are a little disappointed that you have now figured out that trans fats are bad for you. And even the government is now saying we're going to outlaw trans fats, or at least we're going to label them so that if you look at a particular food, if it says 0 trans fats, then you know it doesn't have trans fats, right? Oh, this is a smart audience. I thought I'd see if I could trick you. Exactly. Just because it says no trans fats doesn't mean that it doesn't have it. because the food manufacturers and the FDA agreed that if the amount of trans fat was less than 0.5 grams per serving, they could market it as no trans fats. So when you see them cookies and they say no trans fat, and you eat 10 cookies, yeah, you probably have consumed maybe 5 to 10 grams of hydrogenated oil, and you don't even know it. Number 4, saturated fats. And this is not all saturated fats, because some saturated fats are actually good for you. But a lot of the conventional saturated fats, and it's not that beef is bad for you, or chicken, or so forth. It's just that the way the animals are raised today. If you go back in the 1950s, 1960s, a lot of people, when they ate animal meat, that animal meat came directly from a local farmer. That animal did not have growth hormones and steroids and antibiotics in their body. Unfortunately, today, you're now consuming those same antibiotics, growth hormones, and steroids, unless you decide to buy organic meat. Now, I'm not a vegetarian. I got to have my meat, but I just try to buy something that's a little cleaner animal. And of course, number 5, drugs. Over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs, recreational drugs, not good for the body. And the key point to recognize about these particular 5 dead foods is that these foods wear out the insulin receptors, and that's how we develop diabetes. Those insulin receptors, remember this morning I said the insulin receptors are like garage doors that open and close. Well, if you're eating a lot of refined starches and refined carbohydrates, that garage door is working like crazy 24/7, and you wear it out. And if you're consuming trans fats, the trans fats make the garage door sticky. It makes your cells sticky. So the garage doors can't open and close smoothly. Yeah. Again, these are some of my favorite food combinations. The combination of cereal, milk, toast, margarine, jelly, with a glass of bottled orange juice in the morning. Have that every day for 20 years. The body just can't handle all that sugar. Another one, hash browns, pancakes, sausage, bacon, toast, syrup, bottled apple juice. And again, it's the combination of those foods that eventually wears out your body. And again, these are just some of my favorite meals. And dinner meal, I love mashed potatoes, fried chicken. Yeah, some cornbread. Oh, a couple cobs of corn. And of course, my favorite fast food was pizza. I love pizza. I'm not Italian, but I just love pizza. And I can eat a whole pizza. The large pizza with the double cheese, pepperoni, sausage. That pan pizza? Oh yeah. Good stuff. Oh, no, it's good stuff. Oh, just now. Yeah. Yeah. Twinkie. I grew up on Twinkie.